have not heard anything about many of the items that you mentioned, but you used the word disrupt, and I do agree that our public education system is in need of disruption. We have seen our results fail our kids for too long, and they've gotten worse and worse and worse year after year, even though we're spending more and more money. But the good news is that we see examples throughout the country where this sort of positive disruption is occurring in a way that lifts up all students and has gotten amazing results for students. We've seen some good examples in DC. We saw it in New Orleans after Katrina, where they became an all-charter network. Florida was mentioned from one of the representatives from Florida as somehow a bad example. Florida leads the nation in education outcomes. It usually ranks first or close to it. On the other hand, my state, California, which has done everything possible to restrict school choice, ranks among the worst in the country, even though it spends a lot and has added tens of billions of dollars to the education budget. In fact, in 2019, California was second worst in the entire country for education outcomes for kids on free or reduced lunch. And then, of course, during COVID, as I mentioned before, California had the longest school shutdown of any state in the entire country. Although not everyone was kept out of school. For example, Gavin Newsom, the governor who ordered the school shutdown, he sent his kids to in-person private school during that time. And I think that just underlines a theme that comes out of today's hearing, is that we already have universal school choice in this country for people of means, those who can afford it. I'm glad that the Democrat witness got a great opportunity growing up to go to an outstanding private school. I'm glad that Gavin Newsom's kids get to go to a great school, and that Joe Biden's and that Kamala Harris's kids. But what I don't like is when those very politicians or advocates who make one choice for their own families then seek to deny that choice, use their power to deny that choice to those who are less fortunate. I think that tension is what we're trying to resolve here, and we're trying to expand that sort of opportunity. So, we've heard a lot of railing against any form of voucher or scholarship or education savings account today. But the reality is that those who are making these arguments, by and large, don't just oppose vouchers or particular voucher programs. They oppose school choice in general. In fact, we saw that pivot even happen in the midst of this hearing, where they start off by saying we support public charter schools, and then suddenly we hear spurious arguments about for-profit charters. 90% of charters are nonprofit. Or we hear things like charters can turn away students. Absolutely untrue. Charters are open to all and are tuition-free. So that is the troubling theme that comes out of this, is that the opposition is really to anything that disrupts the business model of keeping kids trapped in failing schools. And it's that business model that has led to this education decline in our country. So what I think we need and what we're seeing emerge is a new model where the money follows the student. This is what extends opportunities to families who have other options, and it's what catalyzes system-wide change. And I will say, in fairness, and I think that the ranking member is sincere on this, that the Democrat Party has been divided on the issue of charters. We see some who are clearly anti-charter school, but there are some that have been supportive, like when President Biden tried to cut charter school grants. Several Democrats, including Governor Polis in Colorado, came out against that. And we have seen bipartisan support for great charters like Success Academy and KIPP. I mean, Success Academy is the #1 performing school in the entire state of New York. But nevertheless, and I've seen this firsthand in my own state, there has been a war against all forms of school choice, despite the manifold benefits that we've seen for students. So what I'm hoping is that those who are actually interested in getting positive education outcomes for kids will move past the talking point that we just need to put more money in there, since that's obviously a theory that's been falsified. Of course, we need to adequately fund education, but the notion that more money will produce better results without actual reform has been proven false time and again. But if we can find those who are genuinely interested, and I'm willing to partner with the ranking member and anyone else on this side of the aisle to support those forms of school choice that you can get behind. So despite the vast differences of opinion we've seen today, I'm hopeful that we'll find some common ground going forward. And I really think we do have an opportunity to catalyze reforms that will benefit millions of kids, millions of families across this country, and set our country on a much more promising